Hi, my name's Kat. Thank you for joining me today for this upper body and core circuit. We're going to be doing 8 exercises where it's 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. If you have your own timer, you can do 45 and 15 if you prefer. Pop on some music that's going to get you moving, and ideally we want a pair of dumbbells. However, if you don't have any dumbbells, you can use a resistance band, kettlebell, even some cans from the cupboard, or just do the movements without, because movement is magic. Hope you enjoy. If you do, subscribe and share. Thank you. I'm going to start with a quick warm up for our upper body. So we'll do a big side stretch, opening up the side body, coming up other side. Let's do another couple more. One more both sides. We're going to making a fist, shoulders back and down. Let's do a big wide open shoulder circle. So if this range of motion feels too uncomfortable, you can go smaller circles. You can have your hands on your shoulders. You can just roll the shoulders without the arms if you need to. And then we'll change the direction. We inhale up, exhale over. Last one. And we'll relax those arms and do a little twist from side to side, letting the arms flop from side to side, getting rotation through the shoulders, the upper back. And we'll soften into the knees to come into our spine. So we're going to open up the chest and then exhale, round the spine. Inhale, open, exhale, round. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Put your arms to the sky, elbow to knee, opposite sides, alternating sides. And we'll get a little bit faster as we get the blood pumping through the body. Twist, twist. Like standing, twist and crunch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Grab those dumbbells or cans or a resistance band, which can pop under your feet. There's our beat. Let's curl it up and down. So if you've got your band, pulling it up and down, your cans, your dumbbells, or just moving without a weight. I want the shoulders to be back and down, so your chest is open. Nice long spine and neck, knees nice and soft, so we're not locking out the knees, and trying to avoid swaying in the body. So we just have a gentle firmness in the core to keep us nice and stable. Ideally, we exhale against at the hardest part of the exercise, so we exhale as we bring it up and inhale as we release. Our next exercise is for our triceps. You can do a tricep extension, or we can hold the weight over your head and do a bend here. If you don't have, so we're starting now, that beat's gone. If you don't have any weights at all, then come down onto your mat or onto the ground. We bend into the elbows behind you and putting your pressure in your weight into those arms. If you want a little bit more resistance, you can lift the bum and do this. This one can be intense for the shoulders and the wrists though. See how you go. So if you're doing overhead, elbows are facing forward. And if you're doing that kick back, keep your elbows nice and tucked in, shoulders back. Now our third exercise is going to be an overhead press. 2 options. We've still got our 5 seconds. 2 options, we can keep the elbows tucked in and it's just a gentle lift and lower. more load, we go out to the side and pushing up and down. So this one, if you don't have any weights, it's actually a really nice one to do for posture strengthening and correction, is where you pull your shoulder blades down and towards your spine and then reaching up. So tucking your wings in, keeping your chest nice and open. You can slide your fingers up and down a wall behind you as well, which will help with that postural alignment if you don't have a weight. So we exhale as we push over top. Inhale as we come back down. Good. And then we have our reverse fly. So with the reverse fly, we're going out to the side. Out to the side, activating those shoulders in towards your spine. If you have a resistance band, hold your band in front and you open, doing exactly the same movement. Let's go. So with our bent over version, make sure your belly button is drawn in, your pelvic floor is drawn up, like you're trying to stop yourself from peeing, not to 100%, but just enough to assist with your corset muscle, your transverse abdominis. Opening up the chest, shoulder blades in towards your spine. Exhale as we open. Inhale as we release. Spine nice and straight. Beautiful. Now we're coming into our push-ups. Option to do the push-ups on a wall, or you can do it on a bench, a table, something that's not going to move. So you can come down onto the floor, having your hands a little wider than shoulders, spread your fingers. You can just do like a half weight, or you can come into a half plank, or you can come into your full push-up. So I'm going to do the knees down version for today. Beautiful. Now I'm going to come down onto your back for an oblique crunch. Having your hips in line with your pubic bone, a little arch under your lower back, interlace the fingers behind the head. So you can, option one is coming into your crunch from here, trying to keep your hips level. Or you can lower back connects, legs come up, and we're crunching from side to side. You want to add on more load, extend opposite leg out. Good, and then we've got a plank. Let's flip it over. So with your plank, you can be leaning on the side of a couch or a chair that's not going to move, or you could come lower into a half plank. So we don't want the bum in the air because then the core's not having to do anything. So wherever you are, your bum comes forward, not dumping into here, not good for the lower back. So we want to come up in a nice diagonal line. Pull your pubic bone up towards your belly button, flattening out the spine a little bit. Pelvic floor up, shoulders not collapsing. And option as well is the high version, having your feet a little bit wider than your hips, nice and stable. I'm having to stop talking so I can hold. Good, and coming down. Our last exercise is a lateral raise. Now, the weights that I've got, because I'm using the same weight for all of our exercises, probably going to be a little bit too heavy. So if you're in the same boat, if you've only got one load of weights, then you can do this without weights, or we can just do a lot less reps. Okay, so we're shoulders back and down, out to the side, and then coming back down. You want to make sure we're not rounding the shoulders, a little bend in the knees. We're not squatting, but not locking out the knees either. Little bend in the elbows. The lighter the weight though, you can straighten the arms a little bit more. Ooh. I can feel it with these ones. Go, we've only got 8 seconds to go. That's round one. Have a drink. Once you've had your drink, let's get ready for round two. We're starting back at our bicep curls. So start standing nice and tall. Feet about hip distance apart, softening into the knees. And here we go. So we don't want to go too fast. We want to get time under tension to get all that magic happening in our muscle fibers. Exhaling up. Inhaling down. We're over halfway for this one. And having you think about which tricep option you're going to do, the little kickback one, the overhead one, down on the ground. All right, so I'm going to do the overhead. So if you're doing the overhead one, I'm going to swap which foot's back just to help me stabilize. So the elbows are facing forward. Oops, I started too early. We're starting now. If you're doing overhead as well, make sure you're not arching into the spine. If you're doing the bent over version, make sure your spine is staying nice and straight, shoulder blades tucked in behind you, elbows tucked in. We're doing that with both arms back. All right, then we have our overhead press. So either keeping the arms in, or to recruit more muscle fibers, we're going to go into our wide option, so like cactus arms up. Tucking those shoulder blades in towards your spine. Or that other option again, if you're doing the hammer curl version, nice and in, close to the body. So it's a little bit more tricep based. Beautiful. Now we have our reverse fly. So bending into the knees, shoulders back, similar position, same position as if you were doing that bent over tricep extension. Waiting for the beat, and one, let's go. So if your shoulders don't like this one, you can turn it into a row release. Keep the belly firm, pulling up that pelvic floor a little bit. Great, let's put those weights down. Coming into your push-up, either against the wall, on furniture, or coming down to the floor. So making sure the elbows aren't going directly out to the side. They're kind of doing like an upside down V shape. And we want to try and avoid the shoulder blades moving in and out too much because it's not a row. We want to feel all the chest and armpit muscles working, not our upper back as a focus. We want to keep those shoulder blades as still as possible. Good. Let's come into our crunching. So option again, feet down. If you're in your feet down version, you've got a neutral spine. If you're in the feet up version, your lower back is connected, which is called an imprint. So hands behind the head, trying to keep the hips level with both options. So we're not rocking too much. We want the work to be in our actual obliques and not compensating. Another option, if you're not ready to bring the feet up and stay up, you can still bring some movement into it with some marching, the opposite arm and leg. Right, then we've got our plank. Let's flip it over. So on elbows, you can come up and do a high plank as well on your hands if you wish. On your knees, or the full. Making sure we're not collapsing into the shoulders. So what I mean by that is dropping down. You want to push away from the floor, not having your bum up here and not letting it come down here. Just trying to keep a nice long line. And don't hold your breath, which we do all too often when we're exercising. All right, then we've got those lateral raises, and that's round 2. Shoulders back and down, grounding through the feet. Let's go. If you're heavy, make sure you're going slightly bent into the elbows. But if it's getting too heavy, you can stop if you like. We've got another 7 seconds. I'm starting to struggle. Good, it's stopping there. We've got our 20 seconds rest. This is our last round. Have a drink if you want one. Our bicep position is the same position. About 10 seconds. Let's go. We're 10 seconds to go. Excellent. I think for the triceps this time I'll do the other one. So if you're doing the one overhead, you just swap which foot's back the next time. All right, rowing back. We extend and bend. At that halfway mark, if you want to swap feet, if you're doing overhead. Well, let's come into that overhead press. Starting in 5. Shoulder blades down and towards the spine, chest nice and open. Making sure we're not locking out the knees or arching through the lower back. Ten seconds. Excellent. We're just going to that reverse fly or row. Spine straight, firm into the belly. Starting in 1. Good. The rowing option. Or our fly with the elbows slightly bent. So if you have lighter weights, the fly is a good one. It's a tricky one as you get heavier, so the heavier option, usually the row feels really good. Awesome. Come into those push-ups. Hands a little wider than shoulders, making sure your fingers are nice and spread. Let's go. Onto your back. And do the legs up version this time for me. Add on those leg extensions. Flip it to plank. So keeping those elbows stacked under your shoulders. Almost there. Our last exercise and then it's stretch time. Our lateral raise. Thinking of posture, good foundation. Last 40 seconds. Let's go. Last 10 seconds. Struggling through it. Ooh. Excellent work. Have a quick drink. And we'll do our stretch to cool down. And bring the arm across. Turn your head away. That's the time of saying good job. Let's go overhead. Other side. Overhead. Now interlace behind. So making a fist. Roll those shoulders back and down. So opening up the chest. And interlace in front. Round the shoulders. You can do a little shimmy from side to side. I'm going to sit down and do a nice side stretch. Other side. And twist. Other side. Thank you for joining me today. Mwah.